We start with some crucial midweek games, and who would have imagined this would turn into Middlesbrough's best performance in the Premier League when Fabrizio Ravanelli offered up his own unbelievable contender for miss of the season. But Derby goalkeeper Russell Holt still seemed to be in shock at that lucky escape when Vladimir Kinder was the unlikely source of an invaluable goal for Middlesbrough, his first in the Premier League. Derby's defence never recovered. With Emerson's help, Ravanelli then ran through, and with Holt again at fault, the Italian was able to make amends rather emotionally for that first half miss. Now Middlesbrough were also getting the breaks. Emerson's pass was intended for Mikael Beck, but fell perfectly for Craig Hignett. The contest was finished, but Middlesbrough weren't. Their League of Nations were thriving on the counter-attack. Juninho and Ravanelli contrived to make number 4 for the Danish striker Beck. Derby were disintegrating. In their next attack, 4 defenders pushed up for offside, but not Gary Rowett. And at the second attempt, Ravanelli turned in his second and then turned up his collar to do his own Elvis impression. And Borough's top scorer answered the calls for an encore with a little help from his little Brazilian teammates. Juninho skipped the tackles to create a hat-trick chance Ravanelli was not going to waste. In the final minutes, Derby did make a small dent in the scoreline thanks to Paul Simpson's expertly taken free kick. But 6-1 it finished. And can Middlesbrough's best result of the season now spur them for a late run to safety?
Buoyant after their win at Newcastle last weekend, Southampton were soon threatening at the Dell. Matt Le Tissier, Saints match winner at St James's Park, was clearly in menacing mood again. But Everton capitalised on that narrow escape by taking the lead on 11 minutes. Nicky Barmby's corner headed in by Duncan Ferguson. According to manager Joe Royle, Everton are a much better side than their current mid-table position would suggest. And they seem to have established command of this game when they added a second goal 16 minutes later. Gary Speed was the scorer this time from Earl Barrett's pass. But a second-half revival from Southampton underlined the determination of Graham Souness's side to scrap for survival. First, just before the hour, Robbie Slater, on as a substitute, claimed his first goal for the club since joining from West Ham. Within 3 minutes, it was 2-2. Jason Dodd lobbed the ball forward, and Craig Short had the misfortune to steer the ball into his own net as Neville Southall came rushing out. It ended with a point apiece.
Dave Bassett's first home game as Nottingham Forest general manager will not have encouraged him. Brian Roy's back pass enabled Benito Carboni to slide Sheffield Wednesday into the lead early in the second half. And Forest's chances of salvaging something weren't helped by Roy's performance at the other end. Having got in behind Wednesday's durable defence, the Dutchman wasted 2 chances to equalise. Wednesday have lost just once in 22 League and Cup games, and their Dutch striker Reggie Blinker put them within range of yet another victory, connecting with Andy Booth's cross. In the final minute, Forest's back 4 went walkabout again. Steve Chettle was the last line of defence, but Richie Humphreys evaded him, and after Mark Crossley saved, Carbone followed up to round off a result that raises new doubts about Forest's powers of survival.
No respite for Wimbledon. Their success in the cup competitions has left them with a demanding schedule that included a 4th game in 10 days. This away to Premier League strugglers Coventry. The commentator is John Helm.
That was neatly done, and Huckabee tries to find a route to goal down this touchline. He is a handful, and their chances now. Whelan looks up, swings it across. Koku has hardly been in the contest, but he's in it now, and Anthony Koku, right against the run of play, scores for Wimbledon. McAllister, corner. it's in this time. Dion Dublin takes the applause, and Coventry deserve no less. Forward now into the space, and Ian Jess onside. He looks up, he measures the cross. What a stop!
Tottenham's poor form had sucked them into the bottom half, but just as a relegation fight looked a possibility, Spurs and Stefan Iversen came good. The young Norwegian stunned Sunderland with 2 almost identical goals in the first 12 minutes. On both occasions, Colin Calderwood's long free kicks weren't dealt with by the home team, and Iversen was just too sharp. Sunderland never recovered. Iversen was involved in Tottenham's third before half-time, playing the perfect pass for another Scandinavian, the Danish midfielder Alan Nielsen. For the first time in the Premier League, Sunderland had conceded 3 goals at home. But their dispiriting night wasn't finished, and neither was Iversen, whose first hat-trick in England was completed with a brilliant 25-yarder.
Ruud Gullit wasn't impressed with what he felt was a negative approach by Blackburn, but opposite number Tony Parks could point to Rovers having at least as many presentable openings as Chelsea, including this one for Tim Sherwood that was blocked on the line by Frank Leboeuf. Indeed, it was Blackburn who went ahead just after the hour mark. Jason Wilcox had been a constant threat on the flank, and it was his cross that new Danish signing Per Pedersen guided in for his first Rovers goal. They held that advantage, though, for only a minute. Chelsea shaken at last from their lethargy, equalising with a fine effort from Scott Minto. Minto's strike was the last of the scoring as it finished 1-1, with Tony Parks scoffing afterwards. If Gullit says he didn't see us trying to win the game, he probably needs a haircut.
Brian Little and Aston Villa's quest for a European place and even a say in the title race had been boosted by last Sunday's win over Liverpool. Back at his former club, Little faced Martin O'Neill and a Leicester side that had just recorded one of their better league victories, 3-1 at Wimbledon. And Leicester's need for 3 more points to lift them clear of trouble prevailed for much of the night. Mark Bosnich in the Villa goal was busy throughout, and so was Leicester's big defender Matt Elliott. He'd scored twice at Wimbledon and was equally dangerous here. Elliott escaped the Villa defence again in the second half, but again he couldn't beat Bosnich. But not surprisingly, Leicester's big defender was up there contributing to the game's crucial moments. This time Bosnich's brilliant reactions were in vain. Steve Claridge beat him with the follow-up. 1-0, and now Claridge and Leicester have a head for heights. They've moved up to 9th.
So checking.